My name is Kajsa Ekis Ekman. I'm Swedish. I'm an author and an activist, and I'm here to talk about surrogacy, which I consider basically the new prostitution. I usually talk about it as prostitution's little sister. We have to keep in mind it started in the 70s, and it's mainly concentrated to the US and the countries where they're buying surrogacy from, which is mainly Asia, India, Thailand, Nepal, and Ukraine as well, before the crisis that happened there. So now it's coming a bit everywhere, and I think all countries are kind of facing this thing. It's new, what are we going to do about it? There are no laws, just like in my country, Sweden, there haven't been any laws. So they're now making an investigation around this. And I think it's very important that the feminist movement is alert here, because there is a big lobby that wants us to see surrogacy as a modern thing, a new way to have children, liberation of women and so on, when fundamentally what we're speaking about is a woman selling her body and selling her child. And that's why I speak about surrogacy as child trafficking, because the woman receives money in the very moment that she hands over her child. She gives her child away. She will never see it again. She will not be part of the upbringing. She will not be able to give it a name. It will not carry any traces of her. She's just giving it up, and in turn she gets money. And it's interesting to note that the countries where surrogacy is most in demand tend to be countries where they have a history of forced adoption, for example. You know, in Australia, the Aborigines had to give up their children for the white people who wanted to raise children and couldn't have their own. So they already have a history of this kind of thing, where the upper classes say, when we cannot have kids, somebody else is going to have the kids for us, and we have the right to have children. And that's the way they perceive it. The global upper class perceives surrogacy as a right. They speak about it as a kind of general right for everybody to have children, but they're not speaking about women in sub-Saharan Africa who are infertile due to diseases that you can cure. This they don't care about. They only care about themselves and their right to take other people's children. Because they have money, they think they can do what they want. Basically, it's about that. So we're speaking here about capitalism and patriarchy. Capitalism as in, of course, everything is supposed to be for sale. If you have money, you're supposed to be able to buy whatever you want. And also patriarchy, because in patriarchy, women's reproductive capacities are not for themselves, they are for others. So in patriarchy, a woman is taught that you're not having a child because you want a child, but because you are going to give your child to somebody else, usually a man. And this is what happens in surrogacy as well. So I think we have a battle ahead. You know, we have a battle to really make everybody understand that this is about women's rights and children's rights not to be for sale, and not to believe the kind of myth that they want to create that, oh, this is great, this is modern, this is technological, this is fantastic, everybody can have the right to have children, because this is not about everybody can have the right. This is about a child is born and somebody is giving that child up and somebody else is getting that child. And this follows exactly the power lines when it comes to economic power, when it comes to gender, when it comes to ethnicity, class, everything. What's happening now is very interesting, because who is actually moving forward trying to stop surrogacy is the poor countries. Like India and Thailand are now banning commercial surrogacy because they have realized we're becoming a kind of destination for reproductive tourism. The richer countries have to take their responsibility and say, you know, we have to stop this because we don't want our people to go around and buy other people's wombs, basically. You know, you have to keep in mind that pregnancy is not like donating sperm. A man can donate sperm, you know, it takes 5 minutes. What happens with him? Nothing, there's no risk. You don't die from donating sperm. You will never become infertile from donating sperm. You maybe have a nice time for 5 minutes and that's it. You know, maybe the child will think, who's my father? But that's a different thing, you know? But when it comes to pregnancy, this is a very complicated thing, you know? I mean, for the 9 months that pregnancy happens, a lot of things can happen to the woman. She can become infertile, she can even die when she gives birth. A lot of pregnancy-related diseases can happen as well. So to demand that of a woman and demand that she also never sees that child, you know, it's not nothing. And they're making us think that this is nothing, that she doesn't have feelings, you know, she can just give it away. Oh, it's okay. Why is this okay? Because she's poor, it's okay? You know, and it's interesting because in other cases, you know, you speak about, oh, the mother's love for her child is so important and everything. But where is this in surrogacy? Nobody cares. It's like she's a machine, she's a robot, you know? She doesn't feel.